What is going on, everyone, and welcome to Kart 6T3. My name is Ben. Thank you very much for stopping by. Real quick, if you didn't mind hitting a like on this video, possibly subscribe to the channel, that'd be awesome. As you see, the board is getting a little more bare in anticipation of things to come, but we'll get to that eventually. It was getting a little bit cluttered there. Sometimes I'm a stickeraholic, so I tend to put stickers frickin' everywhere. It is cold here. It is Saturday. I have the trailer loaded up to go racing. Am I going to enjoy it? Probably not, but I need to shake the rust off, man. All this anticipation of the 2024 season has kind of gotten to me. I was going to go last week. It was kind of rainy. It's like, all right, I can deal with wet. I can deal with cold, but I don't like to deal with them at the same time. Today doesn't look to be wet, just cold. So, okay, you know, I am a northerner. I can deal with a little bit of cold. Just means I break out the SQS or SAA grape to deal with the colder temperatures on track. But I really wanted to get behind the wheel of the clone cart and get a feel for it, because the plan is to run for the 1,000 to win race next week at Champion in the Reaper Tire Clone Series. So everything goes well tonight. Maybe I'll be going to that next week, but we will see. Anyway, that kind of brought this up. Now, I'm not running for points. I'm going to AMS, burst tires and all that. I'm not getting any time on the Reapers, but it is practice to me because I don't know what the cart's going to do. Somebody happened to ask last week about a video on practice and, you know, the pros and cons type of thing. So we're gonna talk about practice here. Okay, practice is a good thing. Just my in general opinion. Now the question was proposed in, are you worried about wearing out your stuff? I don't think so, unless it's a terribly dry and dusty track and your engine would suck up a bunch of dust. I don't know. The extra laps on a clone engine, on even an open engine, you know, because I'm primarily a UAS guy just getting into this clone stuff. Am I worried about the extra laps on my engine? Not really, because, I don't know, you're willing to back it off maybe a little bit. You're not running sprint laps for 20 hard laps, which a typical race would be. Now, on the pros of practice, why would you practice? If you have a younger driver, if you're new to this channel, if you're looking to get into kart racing, if your track has a practice site or points haven't started yet, points don't matter to me. Going to AMS, I think this might be a points thing. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just a regular, I actually don't know, going down to practice, but I'm using it as a practice to knock the rust off at the beginning of the season, even in mid-season, doesn't matter. If you have a newer racer, get them on track, get them that sensation of speed, work with them, record them with your phone, come back, say, hey, listen, you're not getting wide enough here, you're not getting down to the berm. Use it as a teaching tool on practice night. Also, if you want to know what a particular setup is going to do. Now, I say this with the thing, practice nights typically are, the track is not going to be like race night. So, take your setup information, try and get your kart as neutral as possible. Don't chase the kart when you're on a practice night. You know, is it loose? Is it tight? You know, make changes, but don't make, there's different ways of thinking about this. Don't be upset if you're not as fast as you think you will be on a race night, because the chances are that a practice night of track work is not, the speeds aren't going to be there. So, if you're, say, a normal track runs 8.1s and all of a sudden you're running, 9.0s or something like that, and you're way off the pace of what a race night, don't use that as a deterrent. You can use that as okay, so I'm this bit off. Now, that 9.0, can I make it in 8.7? You're still going to be off from what a race night would be, but if you can make the upgrade to your chassis setup, your tires or whatever, to improve your speed in general, that may help. What I'm saying is, don't, get discouraged and be like, oh, this thing's crap because of a practice night, because typically the track just isn't going to behave on a practice night like it would on a race night. So there's that. I know a bunch of people down south in Max's country, you like to cycle your tires. You like to get heat runs on them. This is also very good for Vega yellows. I've done a whole bunch of prepping over the years with Vega yellows, and you can, just lay the prep to them internally, externally, in the hotbacks, whatever you do. There is something about it, and I'm sure it pertains to different makes as well, not only Vega yellows, but once a tire is heat cycled on a cart, it makes a difference in durometer, and it makes a difference to the carcass of the tire. There's no forces being loaded on that tire in a hot box. When you get it on the cart, when the tire is able to move and undulate, if that's a word that I'm going to use there, if it's allowed to have those pressures, not only from the heat of building up, from the being on the surface, but actually getting the carcass to move back and forth. This is good, and this has happened. Like I've prepped a Vega yellow. I've gotten it down to like 45 duro, and it was just like, all right, 45. It's pretty decent. As soon as I put it on track, 35, 10-point drop, just because that amount of pressure and heat combined being on track happens. So keep that in mind. This is a tool. If your track has a practice night, if you are able to practice, you may be able to use it if you're not concerned about setup, if you're not concerned about, what line you're racing. If you just want to prep tires and use practice night as, a way to cycle tires, to get some heat into those tires, get them on track, scuff them, as they call it, scuff your tires, use that. Laps are never a bad thing, in my opinion. I think that, getting acclimated to a track surface, what lines you can run, use practice. Even if you're scuffing tires, maybe try a really high line, see what it does. These are all things that can be a benefit to your racing. But I think mostly practice in general, you're not really going to wear out your stuff. Maybe the extra washing, but practices can always be used to, shake down equipment, make sure you don't have anything loose, make sure, if a problem's going to present itself, it may present itself on a practice night, and you can kind of catch that ahead of time, ahead of race time. Hey, man, if we didn't run that practice, I may not have noticed my engine mount was loose, or an axle bolt had come loose or something like that. There's always that. I wouldn't be overly concerned with the wear and tear on your chassis, with the wear and tear on your engine, because it's not a race scenario. You're not going to be putting that much on. Chances are, too, you're also not going to be beating and banging on practice night. You're all going to be separated, just running your own line. But I think, for the most part, practice most beneficially for your rookie drivers, for the kids that, or I say kids, I started at 25 years old. It was a benefit to me to go on Wednesday nights to Paradise Speedway just to log laps, to get a concept of where I needed to run, what the track layout was, to get that sensation of speed. From kids to adults, that is a great thing. If you are a rookie coming into the sport, if you don't know what a proper race line is, practice nights are absolutely wonderful. For your more advanced racers, you're going to be cycling tires, just working on, setup things, getting stuff dialed in to get more of a neutral setup for your race night type of thing. So I thought this would be a video worth doing. I thank you very much for whoever suggested that video. I was just like, yeah, that makes sense with what I'm about to do today. So I got the GoPro on the face of the helmet, got it all loaded up. This track allows helmet cam, so hopefully I'll be putting something out tomorrow with how my practice day went and everything. Pretty real chance that I'm not going to win this thing. Not that it's going to, tons of carts or money up for grabs or anything like that I know of, but definitely try and just mind my P's and Q's. I don't want to screw up if it is a points night for the guys. I'm going to run hard. I'm going to run clean, as I always try and do. I won't say stay out of their way, because I want to win as bad as anybody else. But tonight is about getting on track, getting myself acclimated to the Clone Power, what I need to do with that. Totally different track next week. If I do go to that 1,000 the Wind, we're going from a high bank track to a more flatter track. So there's that. Handling isn't going to be, but if I can get the Recon ballpark handling wise, tire wise, stagger wise, you know, as I said, with practice, get it as neutral as possible to where maybe I can only be a couple adjustments away from being really fast next week. We're going to go with that. But thank you very much, everyone, for stopping by. I really do appreciate you. Oh, I never even mentioned it. I just passed 4,000 subscribers. Woo! It's kind of crazy to me. It really is. I know this was the end of the video, but I thank you so much, everyone, for subscribing and everything. It kind of took, I was like, all of a sudden I did that, I did the 4 Takes and Fuel podcast, and they said, oh, you're almost at 4,000. I was like, yeah, and maybe it didn't register. Just one day I opened up my thing. I was like, holy crap, I hit 4,000. Thank you very much for that. Again, I'm not here without you. I'm not here without you guys watching the videos, commenting, liking, doing all the things you do. So it keeps me going. I can't thank you enough. You know, next on the line is 5,000 on YouTube. It's kind of a big deal. You know, and not one of those huge channels, but I'm, you know, friend of mine said that once you pass 2,000, hey, keep on doing it. You got something, and now I'm at 4,000. That is double that. I can't thank you enough for the support, guys, and I really do appreciate it. So, yeah, off to the races here in a couple hours, and hopefully I got some more footage for you. I hope you've been enjoying those shorts I put out. They seem to hit the algorithm just fine. They're kind of fun to do. So I'm gonna try and keep that up best I can. Make little funny shorts and this and that about anything I can think of. So anyway, guys, thank you very much, and I'll see you next week. Later.